Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of June 29th through July 5th. During that time, we will have a waxing crescent moon, and that's a really good time to, it's kind of like just heightened senses. You're really able to focus, buckle down, get to work on the projects that you just started, the new things that you have going on. We will have the first quarter moon comes in on the 3rd or the 4th. Is that right? Yeah, 3rd or the 4th, right before, right around the holiday there. And that, of course, is heightened emotions. It's actually hard to get stuff done, but there's a holiday right there, so it should be fine. But keep that moon energy in mind. We then move into the waxing gibbous, and that's kind of back to work phase where you can focus again. But keep that, moon energy in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Gemini. So, of course, please take what resonates for you and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading, the answers you need are coming. All right, let's see what the Gemini Collective has going on for this week. And Gemini, since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button right down there. It really helps my channel, just kind of pushes me out in the algorithm a little bit. It's super easy for you to do, so I will give you just a moment to do that right now. Thank you so, so much. And if you've already been a subscriber, thank you so much for helping me, build a community. Here's what I'm trying to say. I've noticed that most of my subscribers watch the videos every week, and that's really the kind of community, I'm really looking for, to find people that are kind of on a spiritual path and moving forward and learning about different things. So, that's kind of my jam here. So I just want to say I see you and I appreciate you coming back every week. All right. Also, my weekly reminder would be that you keep a spiritual journal along those lines, that, as you're learning new things, it's a really good time to just write things down that you are learning. This could be synchronicities that you're having, different things that you're learning. It could also be, about your experiences, but just keeping track of those things, later you can look back and kind of see emerging patterns, where you started focusing on a thing and how that's developed over time. It could be that you forgot something that you wanted to focus on and you are like, oh, I forgot to do that, and that kind of thing. So it's just a really good reminder of the things that you're learning and just kind of how you develop and evolve spiritually. But just my reminder, keep a spiritual journal. All right, Gemini. June 29th through July 5th, the answers you need are coming, and your overall message card here is the 7 of Pentacles. So, looks like, if you're waiting on answers, there you are, waiting. Seeds have been planted. You're kind of waiting to see how things unfold. This, of course, could be in the material realm. This could be, some financial thing that you're waiting to, some investment or something that you've made. Could be some project that you've been a part of that you're just kind of waiting for it to play out, before you get your just desserts. So, but yeah, some sort of answers you need are coming, and it looks like as things play out and come to fruition, you're just going to have to be patient and wait. Your current situation is the Hangman. So you come at this with kind of a new perspective. Could be that this is something that you've done before, but you have kind of a new take on it now, maybe a new appreciation for it now, or a new knowledge of how long it takes for something like this to play out. Again, if it's maybe a work related thing, it might be a project. Let me grab a drink here. Maybe you've done projects like this in the past, and like your new perspective is that you have to be more patient. That maybe in the past you were like, oh, this will pay off quickly, and you learned that it did not. Now you have a new perspective going in that tells you that hey, be patient. This isn't gonna come to fruition for a while. Just be patient on it. Let it work itself out. At the root of your situation is the 5 of Pentacles, which is kind of feeling a bit like an outsider in the material realm. This could be for some of you that maybe you're, because it's material. I always say, you don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So if you're feeling like an outsider because you don't have as much money as someone around you, or, maybe you don't have the home that maybe some people around you do, it's okay. You're where you are because you're supposed to be where you are. It could be a lesson for you if you want to move forward, but what we don't want to do is kind of that outsider, that jealousy thing, right? Don't be comparing yourself to others. We're all on our own unique, different path for different reasons and learning things at different paces. So just kind of keep that in mind, because that seems to be the root of your situation. And maybe it is why you're having this new perspective. Maybe you are learning that right now, which is great. In your recent past is the Empress. The reading I just did for Taurus, I believe, had the Empress in their recent past. So this, that of course is our card of pregnancy, creativity. It doesn't have to be actual pregnancy, although it can be. I like to throw in, because many times I've done readings and it has been. So, it could be that again, you're waiting on this something that is, pregnancy. If it's actual pregnancy, of course, you're waiting on a baby. But if it is pregnancy in the realm of, maybe a project or something that you've been a part of that has been long term, it can also mean that as well and symbolize that as well. So that you're just kind of waiting for this thing to happen. The seeds have been planted, obviously, but you're just kind of waiting and you're having this perspective on this thing to come through and waiting on it. And on your mind is the Magician. So while I almost feel like you're like, well, while I wait, let me decide the next thing that I would like to do, which is very possible, and probably not a horrible use of your time. I mean, if you can't be completely productive in that waiting for that harvest to come in and waiting for this thing to evolve, maybe it is time to think, okay, well, excuse me, since maybe it is your new perspective to think, I'm not just going to waste my time waiting. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to use my energy on the next thing. Also, I'm very choked up. Let me grab another drink here. I feel like I've got a frog in my throat. Which could mean for you actually that you need to speak up. Hold on. So as you're waiting, maybe you are trying to figure out, what is it that I want to focus on next? Is it something, related to cups, to pentacles? Is it something intellectual related to swords, or something like a passion project, or, so it's kind of on your mind, like, what should I do in the interim while I'm waiting for this? What is just ahead of you here is the Queen of Wands. So it could be that you choose the passion project. It could be that, you've got some time to since to spend some time on something that's just kind of a little interest of yours, or, kind of a little side quest that, hey, I've got time right now to, maybe it's some sport, maybe you're a golfer and you've got extra time to golf, you've got extra time to, to do photography, music, some extra little skill or passion thing that you have, that while you wait, it's like, oh, I've got a little extra time to do this thing that I really, really enjoy doing, something that I'm very passionate about. In your advice position is the 8 here, the strength card. So this is the 8th card of the major arcana. I love 8s. I love that, to me, this infinity sign here, and this is just a symbol of how things come around and go back around again, and it's just kind of never ending. But this is a card about inner strength. And so your advice is just to kind of be strong while you're waiting for this thing to come in. Now I'm looking at 4 major arcana on the table. So, I feel like this week, for not just you, but this is kind of a transitional week for so far these readings that, this is the third reading I've done, but I'm just kind of getting a sense already that this is kind of a transitional week for everybody. I'm not going to be shocked if the rest of the readings come out that way, but lots of major arcana cards showing up. The past is kind of affecting our attitudes now in the future, which is typically a thing, but some weeks, honestly, with tarot, I find are just kind of mundane, normal, whatever weeks. These weeks, or this week, for so far in these readings, I'm noticing that it's just a little bit deeper thought, things that are going into how you're going to do things in the future. And I don't know. I'm just getting a sense that there's something a little bit deeper going on. It could just be something in the astrology that's, the way the planets are lined up, that we're all thinking a little bit deeper this week about certain things in the future, or things that we're kind of, again, like you, waiting on something to come in from the past, something that you've been working on. But right now, your advice is to just be strong and wait. What is beyond your control this week is, a little bit of stress maybe while you're waiting. And maybe that's why we're going to take this magician to get your mind off of it. You can only sit around and wait for something to come in, something that you've been working on. That can be very, that can make you have sleepless nights. It's anxious. It's an anxious time that you're waiting and waiting and waiting for this thing to. So take a breath and go ahead and focus your passion somewhere else. Find some passion project that gets you in the moment to kind of take your mind off of thinking about all of that. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the 5 here of Cups. So let's see. We had a 5 of Pentacles. We've got a couple of 5s here. You might want to look up angel number 55. And that just made me think of Sammy Hagar. I can't drive 55. Maybe there's something for you having to do with the number 55, but 55 is kind of in the realm. So secret desire, what you're trying to avoid. I would certainly hope that you're trying to avoid feeling sad or feeling, some sort of grief or sadness, and maybe it's something that you do need to feel, but this is a big question for you this week is, are you avoiding some sort of grief, or is it your secret desire to kind of face something that is out there that maybe you just need to take some time to feel? And that could be something that you do this week, again, as you kind of have some time to get your mind off other things. And maybe this is what you're doing to get your mind off of it, if that makes sense. And your outcome position is the 4 of Cups. So you're feeling a little bit dissatisfied. And I feel like this doesn't resolve this week. And maybe that's why you need to focus on something more positive when it comes to something that's a little more in the passion realm for you, something that just can take your mind off of it so that you're not, these are both cards of just disappointment. You're just not very happy about whatever it is going on, but you've got this new perspective, and hopefully that new perspective is to take this time of waiting and waiting for this thing to come in, to kind of focus on something more positive, something that's good for you, to kind of keep you out of this, out of this feeling anxious and sad and upset. You've got to use your inner strength. You've got to kind of overcome that, and do something for yourself that gets you out of that, so that you're just not stuck kind of in that emotional sadness quagmire there of all those cups knocked over and of just not feeling very excited about things, right? What is hidden from you this week is the 2 of Wands. So that's kind of our thinking about the future. Um, yeah, you can't. I feel like again, if this is like a work related thing, it's like like I said, you've planted these seeds. You're kind of waiting. You've learned that it's something that's been going on over time. And I don't think this is your first rodeo with this. And I think that's what this new perspective is that you've learned that you can't just sit around and wait. You got to do something. You know that it's coming. You've done the work. And if you sit around and wait, here's the result. It's anxious. I'm upset. That worry that you get that, is everything going to be okay? You just can't. It's done. Whatever's done is done. And what you do need to do is listen to this magician who's just whispering to you. He's up there in your head going, what do you want to do? What do you want to do next? What do you want to do? Let's distract. Let's have a distraction. Let's have a distraction. Let's do something a little bit different, because the answers are coming, but there's nothing you can do to bring them on any quicker. Does that make sense? So do something that's fun. What's something that you can think of that's like just this week? Something maybe you haven't done in a long time. Do you like to play pool? Do you like to play ping pong? Do you like to play tennis? Is there some activity? You know how sometimes, activity or working out, especially if it just alleviates anxiety, right? Um, maybe go for a swim. I know it's been very hot here. Do something that you actually just enjoy doing and that puts you in the moment so that you're not feeling anxious. Okay, Soul Oracle deck says, have faith. So the answers you need are coming. Have faith. And we are using this new deck this week. It's the Self-Care Wisdom cards from Cheryl Richardson. And this deck just got in front of me, and I thought, I love them. I think they're very nicely done, but it's about self-care. So we're going to find out what is, I'm already saying find something that you enjoy doing. Let's see if the self-care card, anything comes up that says what you should. So this card is called Love. Of course, it has a beautiful little heart on it. And Love people, love them with all your heart. Just be sure to love yourself first. So, yeah. And by loving yourself, if that means doing something, again, that you enjoy, something that gets you in the moment to get you off, to get your mind off of this thing that you're waiting on, go do it. Find the thing that you love, get out there, go do it, enjoy it, get in the moment, and just relax because the answers you need are coming. So, Gemini, thank you so much for being here with me. I do appreciate your time with me here today. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, leave a comment. Let us know. Compare notes with each other. What is it that you're waiting on? Is there something? And what did you do to love yourself this week? What thing did you do that you enjoy? It might be interesting to see what different Geminis enjoy as far as like a passion project or things that really get you in the moment and just kind of enjoying life, right? Anyway, I do post readings every week, so come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues, or maybe hopefully things have resolved next week and we're on to the next thing. But also, if you like my channel, of course, please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel, and most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Gemini. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.